Hey, it's me, MLB. Here is chapter 87 of Gains, and this one is titled Mum Revealed. Thankfully, the food all turned up right then, and it broke the conversation in half, so you paused to feast your eyes on each plate of waffles as they were put down in front of you. Oh, this all looks so good, you gushed, salivating heavily as you eyed off your former favourite dish, the double chop-chip delight that was smothered in chocolate sauce. But you couldn't eat all of those. Bakugou grunted at your mum as she pulled her chosen waffle plate closer to her. Oh, you have no idea what I'm capable of, she said with a chuckle and a twinkle in her eye. Bakugou smirked and took his arm off the back of your chair and then leaned forwards. Come on then, I'll eat you under the table, he said as he took some cutlery from the tray in the centre of the table and started to dig into the closest pile of waffles. Your mum took this as a sign to start and went hard on her waffles while you and Kiri took a more stately pace of appreciating your food. Aren't they divine? Your mum asked Bakugou, who was shoveling the food down. Do you get food from here often? He asked, answering her question with a question himself. Oh yes, this is my baby girl's favourite place. I feel so close to her when I eat here, she said with a loving smile across at you. Oh, Mum, you said with a sad smile. I'm not far away. I'm always thinking of you. You can always call or text me. I know, my honey, but there's something about food that speaks to me on a deeper level, she said before placing another large mouthful of waffles in her mouth. You felt like this line from her connected some dots in Bakugou's mind as you felt something shift in him, and you glanced at him to see his expression, but he wasn't giving away much. Oh, Mrs. Lin, what was Yin like as a child? We only know the awesomeness of Yin of today, but was she just as amazing as a kid? Kiri suddenly asked, giving you a soft look across the table as he spoke. Oh, Kiri, that was such a nice thing to say, you said sweetly. Oh, your mum hummed. You could see the fangirl in her rising, and you quickly jumped in to stop her before she said something that you didn't want her to say. He's a wonderful friend, right, Mum? You probed. Oh, the sweetest, your mum gushed, and you did a kind of meh face in your mind, like, okay, that was better than her going on about him being your boyfriend, but it wasn't exactly an incognito response. Yin needs to realise her potential, Bakugou suddenly said. She keeps holding back because she doesn't believe in herself. You looked at him. That was probably the nicest thing that he'd ever said, and it wasn't even something that most people would have considered as a nice thing to say. My baby girl is amazing, and even if she doesn't believe in herself, I'll believe in her forever, your mum replied earnestly, and you welled up with tears. You really couldn't do anything wrong in your mother's eyes. She had you on a pedestal. So she's always been amazing then? Kiri asked, bringing the conversation back to the topic of when you were younger. She's always been amazing, your mum confirmed, and you chuckled and rolled your eyes playfully. Guys, I came to eat, not to be bombarded with horrors of my past. I bet you were a good kid. No horrors, Kiri said with a giant smile, and you chuckled. Well, do you remember that time I tried to help you wash the clothes by upending the basket of clothes into a mud puddle in the backyard and smushed them into the earth to wash them? You asked your mum. Oh, honey, you were just trying to help, Mummy. You didn't mean to do that, she said defensively. See, you've always been one to try and help wherever you could. Okay, well, what about that time I hid the Coke bottles in my room and drank, like, the whole amount in one sitting and then vomited everywhere at 2 a.m? You asked. Oh, that was my fault for leaving them somewhere where you could get to them, your mum said, putting food into her mouth a little faster and then talking around her mouthful. Oh, you poor thing. You must have been hungry and thirsty to take all those bottles with you. Oh, I should have offered you more food at dinner time. Mum, I was naughty. I learned my lesson though, you replied. Oh, poppycock, your mum tutted back. You were not to blame. Well, whatever the reason, I'm sorry for those incidents, and I promise that I won't be doing either of them ever again, you said solemnly, making Kiri chuckle. If I find mud in the laundry, I know who to come to ask about it, he said with a small chuckle. Oh, your mum chuckled too, and then the conversation moved back to food. The rest of the time there was pleasant enough, but Bakugou was unusually quiet the whole time. He did end up beating your mum with eating, and she was impressed that he could eat so much food but still stay so slim. Oh, I'm very happy that my Yin has 2 lovely boys looking after her, your mum said as you all stood to leave after eating your fill. Oh no, we are the lucky ones, Kiri said brightly. She's brought a lot of light into my life, and I know many others who have had their whole worlds brightened by her presence, he added with a loving look in his eye. Oh, you really are very sweet, Kirishima, your mum gushed, and you turned to Bakugou. I've just been an annoyance to this one, you joked, poking your finger into his side. You're damn right about that, Bakugou grunted, then stepped in behind you and placed both hands on your waist as he leaned into your ear. But if you ever go off and annoy anybody else, there'll be hell to pay, he said in a low voice. Your cheeks heated up immediately, and you looked to see if your mum had seen, but thankfully she hadn't, and even Kiri wasn't looking at that point. I told you to keep your hands to yourself, you whispered harshly back to Bakugou. I don't follow the rules, he replied in the same low voice, and let you go, and then headed to the counter to pay. Before anyone could stop him, he had paid for all the food, and then turned to the door and demanded that you all leave, which was very much his style. The ride back to UA was pleasant. Bakugou sat up front with your mum, and Kiri sat in the back with you, which allowed you to touch hands a few times secretly, which you liked. And then by then you were back at the gates and ready to hop out of the car. I love you, Mum, you said as you got out of the car and walked to her driver's side door to lean in and hug her. My baby girl, she said sadly, hugging you as best she could from her seat. You remember to call me, okay? I will, you said with a smile. Just then you felt something slap you on the ass and you jumped a little, trying to pull yourself out of the window quickly. I'll call you tomorrow, okay? You said hurriedly to your mum. Anyone want to hazard a guess as to who it was that did the old spank on the bottom? We'll drop it in the comments, but I'm pretty sure we all know who it was. Stay tuned for chapter 88 coming tomorrow. I'll see you then.